a new board, but not announcing who they are just yet. Instead, promising to name them later this month. Henyard is under investigation by the FBI.
Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her.
The $50 entrance fee to Mayor Tiffany Henyard's reelection party in Dalton, Illinois, has become a highly debated topic, stirring discussions about political strategy and fundraising amid an ongoing scandal involving her administration. Allegations of voter suppression and dubious appointments have cast a shadow over her tenure, making this expensive price point a symbol of exclusivity, but also raising questions about Henyard's political motives and leadership style. Supporters of Henyard argue that the steep entrance fee showcases her political strength and ability to rally both public and financial support, even amid scrutiny. For them, this is seen as a sign of her tenacity and political savvy. They believe her ability to gather such support, even in a turbulent environment, is a testament to her leadership. However, critics see the high cost as a desperate attempt to gain backing in light of the scandals surrounding her. They argue that it reflects financial misconduct, especially when considering the local community's economic struggles and concerns about inclusivity in her campaign. The disagreement about the price tag of Henyard's re-election event highlights a broader debate about political access and socioeconomic realities in Dalton, with many residents facing financial difficulties, including rising crime rates and unreliable local government. The idea of paying $50 to attend a political fundraiser is difficult for many to swallow. For some, it feels more like a spectacle designed to impress her supporters rather than a genuine attempt to engage the public in meaningful political discourse, while Henyard supporters defend the high cost as a necessary demonstration of political resilience. Opponents argue that it reflects a broader problem of a disconnect between Dalton's leadership and the needs of its residents. The choice to charge such an exorbitant fee may turn away voters who cannot afford it, further isolating those who already feel disconnected from the political process. In the face of mounting criticism, Henyard's re-election event seems less like a sincere campaign rally and more like an expensive political maneuver designed to appeal to her most loyal backers. The polarizing nature of Henyard's leadership is highlighted by the ongoing controversy over the fundraiser. Her critics point to her tendency to dismiss opposition as driven by jealousy or ambition, rather than engaging with legitimate concerns. In doing so, she continues to present herself as a figure under constant attack, even as she builds her campaign around high-profile events that further fuel division within the community. To some, this reinforces the notion that Henyard is more focused on protecting her political legacy than addressing the real issues facing Dalton. The choice to charge such a high fee also raises questions about the accessibility of Dalton's political leadership. For many residents, the idea of spending $50 to attend a political event is a reminder of the economic divide that exists within the community. While Henyard supporters may see it as an affirmation of her strength and determination, others view it as yet another example of a leadership style that prioritizes spectacle over substance. The fundraising strategy employed by Henyard is a reflection of her administration's broader challenges, including allegations of backdoor deals and questionable appointments in a town grappling with crime, financial instability, and distrust in local government. Henyard's re-election campaign has become a flashpoint for larger concerns about governance and leadership. Some residents question whether her confrontational and polarizing style is truly in the best interest of Dalton in the long term. As the re-election event progresses and the funds pour in, it remains to be seen whether Henyard's expensive fundraising tactics will help her retain support or expose the flaws in her administration's approach. Ultimately, the $50 fee to attend the re-election party serves as a symbol of the deep divide within Dalton's political landscape. For some, it represents the strength and determination of a leader fighting to protect her legacy. For others, it reinforces the perception of an administration more concerned with maintaining power than addressing the real needs of the community. The high cost of participation in Henyard's campaign is not only a reflection of her leadership style, but also a stark reminder of the complex dynamics shaping Dalton's future. As the town faces ongoing challenges, it's unclear whether Henyard's strategies will prove to be an asset or a liability in the ongoing battle for the community's trust and support.
2025, yet Tiffany Henyard has officially decided she wants to stay as mayor despite the cloud of...
Mayor Tiffany Henyard of Dalton, Illinois, has come under intense scrutiny for a range of issues involving suspected abuses of power, corruption, financial mismanagement, and the alleged use of the local police to intimidate her political adversaries. Henyard, who has served as mayor since 2021, has become the center of a high-stakes political drama, with allegations of misconduct shaking the small town of about 20,000 people just south of Chicago. The controversy surrounding her administration has not only undermined public trust, but has also raised serious questions about her ability to govern effectively, particularly as she embarks on a re-election campaign in the face of mounting opposition. Since taking office, Henyard's leadership has been marred by accusations of financial misconduct, including the alleged misuse of public funds for personal gain. Critics have pointed to her spending habits, which they claim have prioritized her personal interests over the town's well-being. Some have accused her of diverting public money toward unnecessary expenditures, further destabilizing a town that is already facing significant financial challenges. The resulting fiscal instability has fueled doubts about Henyard's ability to address the community's needs and has raised questions about her commitment to public service. Henyard's critics, including some former supporters, have expressed concern that her administration has only worsened Dalton's already precarious situation. Rather than addressing the town's pressing issues, such as economic decline, crime, and infrastructure problems, her administration has been accused of engaging in political gamesmanship, with decisions seemingly driven by personal ambition rather than the welfare of the community. This perception of self-serving leadership has led to growing discontent among Dalton residents, many of whom feel that their concerns have been ignored or dismissed. One of the most contentious aspects of Henyard's leadership is her approach to re-election. Despite widespread criticism and a federal investigation into allegations of financial impropriety, Henyard has remained steadfast in her determination to pursue a second term. Her recent announcement of a re-election launch party has been viewed by many as an attempt to project confidence in the face of mounting challenges. However, for many in Dalton, the move comes across as tone-deaf, out of touch with the urgent issues facing the town. Critics argue that Henyard's focus on political spectacle, such as hosting expensive campaign events, only serves to deepen the divide between her and the residents she is supposed to serve. Many Dalton residents have become increasingly frustrated with what they perceive as Henyard's refusal to engage with the town's most pressing problems. As the town continues to grapple with slow progress and a growing sense of neglect, Henyard's re-election bid has become a flashpoint for broader concerns about leadership, accountability, and transparency. Some view her determination to run for re-election as a defiant stand against her critics, while others see it as a sign of arrogance. With Henyard failing to acknowledge the serious flaws in her leadership, the controversy surrounding Henyard's re-election campaign has only intensified the political divide in Dalton. On one hand, her supporters praise her for her strength and resilience in the face of adversity. They argue that she has shown remarkable determination in weathering the storm of criticism and continuing to push forward with her political ambitions. For these individuals, Henyard's leadership represents a kind of boldness and tenacity that is necessary to navigate the political challenges of a turbulent environment. On the other hand, Henyard's critics argue that her leadership has been marked by divisiveness and poor decision-making. They point to her use of political power to suppress opposition, her financial mismanagement, and her failure to address the town's most pressing issues as evidence of her inability to govern effectively. Many of these critics feel that Henyard has used her position for personal gain rather than working for the greater good of the community, and they believe her continued pursuit of political power is a further indication of her disregard for the needs of Dalton's residents. This stark divide between Henyard's supporters and her detractors has led to a highly polarized political climate in Dalton, one that has made it increasingly difficult for the community to address the issues that matter most. The town is now at a crossroads, with Henyard's re-election campaign serving as a key test of the town's future direction. Will the town continue down the path of dysfunction and division, or will the residents of Dalton choose a new direction, one that prioritizes transparency, accountability, and ethical governance? The stakes of this election are high, and the outcome could have a lasting impact on the future of Dalton. If Henyard is re-elected, it will be seen as an endorsement of her leadership style, despite the controversies and scandals that have surrounded her administration. However, if she is defeated, it could signal a shift toward a more accountable and transparent government, one that prioritizes the needs of the people over political power. As the election approaches, Henyard's handling of the allegations against her continues to draw attention. A federal investigation into her financial dealings is underway, with reports indicating that the inquiry spans both Dalton and the neighboring Thoron Township, where she also serves as supervisor. The investigation is focused on claims that Henyard misused government funds for personal expenses, further fueling suspicions about her leadership and commitment to public service. However, Henyard has largely dismissed the allegations. choosing instead to attack her political opponents and blame them for the town's problems, rather than providing substantive evidence to refute the accusations. In a nearly 90-minute Facebook Live broadcast, Henyard defended her actions and sought to downplay the significance of the federal investigation. Rather than addressing the specific concerns raised by her critics, Henyard embarked on a lengthy tirade against her political foes, accusing them of orchestrating a smear campaign against her. This response has done little to alleviate the public's concerns, with many residents feeling that Henyard's refusal to engage with the issues in a meaningful way only serves to deepen the divide between her and the community. Public forums have become battlegrounds for frustrated citizens who are demanding greater transparency and accountability from their leadership. Among the vocal critics is Chas, a local cleaning staff member who has been outspoken about the need for more ethical governance in Dalton. Chas, like many others, believes that Henyard has failed to address the serious issues facing the town and that her actions have only served to perpetuate the dysfunction that has plagued Dalton during her time in office. This growing frustration is shared by trustees and other local officials who have grown increasingly disillusioned with Henyard's leadership. Many of these individuals believe that Henyard's behavior is deliberately designed to evade accountability and avoid addressing legitimate concerns. Instead of offering concrete solutions to the problems facing Dalton, Henyard has relied on vague promises of future disclosures and dismissive rhetoric to deflect attention from the allegations against her as the federal investigation continues and the political battle intensifies. The rift between Henyard's defensive posture and the public's demand for meaningful answers is becoming more evident. The tension between leadership and the electorate has reached a boiling point, with many residents calling for a change in direction. Henyard's refusal to directly address these concerns has only deepened the community's resentment, and many fear that her re-election bid will only further divide the town, rather than bringing the change that is desperately needed. The ongoing controversy surrounding Henyard's leadership has forced Dalton residents to confront the truth about their governance and leadership. The question now is whether they are willing to continue down the path of dysfunction and division, or whether they will demand a change in leadership that prioritizes accountability, transparency, and genuine civic engagement. As the election approaches, the town is at a critical juncture, and the outcome of this race will likely shape the future of Dalton for years to come. In the face of mounting criticism, Henyard's confidence in her ability to win re-election remains unwavering. However, her continued pursuit of political power has only intensified the divisions within Dalton. For many residents, the question is no longer whether Henyard can successfully navigate the challenges of the campaign, but whether her leadership has become a liability for the town. The growing sense of frustration and mistrust surrounding her administration suggests that the outcome of the upcoming election could be a pivotal moment in Dalton's history, one that will have far-reaching consequences for the town's future as the town grapples with the fallout from Henyard's leadership. Residents must decide whether they are willing to accept her continued rule or whether they will demand change. The stakes have never been higher, and the choices made in the coming months will determine the direction of Dalton for years to come.